Good afternoon, everyone. I am Dr. Giorbelidze. I'm professor at Chenin School of Business at Breton University in Nova Scotia, Canada. And my research areas are women's economic empowerment, sustainable development, and looking more specifically about impact measurement and social impact measurement. I'll let other co-author introduce herself too, Natia.
Mhm. Thank you. First of all, it's great honor for us and for my team members and co-authors to take part in this important and very impactful conference regarding sustainable development. So together with Maya and Hua, who is also co-author, we have worked regarding the business growth and access to finance in this dimension. My research area are also women-based entrepreneurs and also customer experience management and mentorship, helping supporting business for sustainable growth. So we will start discussion regarding this topic and article. The main issues that are facing women entrepreneurs are known for everywhere, but it's very important that they have critical drive. They are critical drivers of job creation and innovation globally, but they often face very significant barriers, issues, and challenges, especially in developing economic owner countries. The study explores how these bundled services, combining together financial support, mentorship, and business development, can enhance women entrepreneurs and support them to foster sustainable growth. And our research was discussed and developed in the three main areas. First aim was to understand the extent to which mentorship and financial inclusion empowers women entrepreneurs. Also, the second one was to evaluate how bundled services improve access to credit or business resilience or job creation. And the third one was to provide evidence-based recommendations for economic development policies as well. I will go on regarding these directions.
Sure, thank you. So generally, the women own 1/3 of all registered businesses across in the worldwide, and small and medium enterprises contribute to 80% of jobs in many developing countries, and over half of women-owned small and medium enterprises are underserved in their access to finance and market. So the important is the issue that we looked into and we did the literature review is what are the barriers that women experience when they run the business. So a lot of literature showed that along with technical access to finance, like high interest rates, limited lending options, strict collateral requirements, there are also the non-financial barriers such as lack of skills. Particularly, they have limited skills in finance and marketing, limited availability for mentorship, and also the weak professional networks. In many countries, along with those financial and non-financial barriers, women face cultural barriers, meaning that there are gender stereotypes and there are certain expectations of behavior expectations that society and the culture expects women, particular women entrepreneurs, to behave with. And the research shows that the regulations and the regulatory policy environment is not always specifically encouraging women's participation, or is either gender neutral or kind of limits their participation in business development rather than providing proactive opportunities to them. So we looked at what is the evidence that if we give women access to finance, meaning we give low interest loans or maybe 0% interest loans, how do we help them overcome those other factors like non-financial barriers and also the cultural environment that they are operating in? So we looked at whether there is an evidence that women who have also access to those non-financial resources like mentorship, skills development, coaching, whether that helps them thrive in their business. So this part, the financial aid with mentoring, training, access to expertise and the knowledge is called bundle services. So we looked whether there is a difference in business growth, in revenues, in employment opportunities, and generally in women's economic empowerment for women who have access to only financial resources, or women who have access to financial resources plus the non-financial ones. So we looked at two theoretical approaches. One is the resource-based view, which emphasizes that leveraging strategic resources like mentorship and finance is important to gain competitive advantage and improve the companies or SMEs performance. And another one was the capability approach, which was developed by Amartya Sen. And this framework looks at enhancing individual freedoms and the capacity to make choices. And that's how we looked at the empowerment as a key outcome of this. So we talked with local microfinance institution, which is based in the country of Georgia, which is in Eastern Europe. And Georgia, generally, women are very educated, like 55% of women have higher education degrees, and only 29% of women start businesses at nearly half rate of the men. So the business ownership structure is favoring men rather than women. So we looked back in 2023 and we looked at 100 entrepreneurs who received the bundle services and also 100 entrepreneurs who only received the low interest loans. That was done in partnership with local microfinance institution, and then we ran different regression and correlation analysis. Before we deep dive into the findings itself, it's important to understand that this study has a limited sample size, right? So it's not the whole population sample, it's more of a specifically for that specific microfinance institution. However, it should be noteworthy that this microfinance institution is based not only in the main hub, which is a capital city, but also in the regions. So the data that we collect can be extrapolated to some of the regional coverages, but it's more of an illustrative sample of those people rather than the whole general population. Obviously, there might have been some selection biases, and these findings are context specific. So this access to bundled services and the way how we analyzed it and the results that are illustrated here show how the context is developed in Georgia. It might differ completely with the same resources and with the same access. The results might be different in different parts of the world. And there were also other variables, like that was freshly after COVID as well, and some of those generally like industry development trends that might have influenced the results. So we analyzed key business variables of women who had access to services, who had access to only financial service, or who had access to financial and the bundled services. So we looked at the financial annual growth, access to loans, access to leasing. We looked at the growth parameter, whether they experienced any change in revenue and there were any changes in the number of employees. And also we looked at whether they appreciated the role of the mentorship and whether they saw the value and whether they saw the contribution. And then we correlated those with growth outcomes of women entrepreneur businesses. So the initial correlation analysis revealed a nuanced relationship between bundle services and business metrics, meaning that women who had access to bundled services had higher employment and higher income compared to those who did not get access to bundled services. The women who benefited from these bundled services had better access to loans and grants. However, awareness of leasing, which is one of the financial products, was very limited, despite whether it was part of the control group or the women who received the bundled services. There was a significant negative correlation, indicating a potential barrier of maybe a lack of opportunity. The bundled service had the highest and the most powerful impact on the revenue growth. So more than 44% of the women entrepreneurs had increase in revenue that was influenced by the bundled services. So those women who benefited from mentorship, coaching, capacity building, along with low interest rate loans, accelerated their business growth. So the research shows that the women had improved revenue and strategy. Bundled services significantly boosted revenue trajectory. It increases accessibility to grants and loans. However, this was a snapshot of a certain period, as we said. We asked them in the last 5 years, and this was but particularly the income and the revenue was in the last 2 years, because as you know, women enters those small companies sometimes have challenges documenting the revenues over longer term. They can freshly remember what was their revenue margin last year or the year before, but remembering or recalling the numbers of the years before was a challenge. So that's why it requires bigger time, and maybe a longitudinal study can also refer to better correlation analysis in this regard. However, even though we saw there is a positive correlation, the research shows that most of the organizations that work with women entrepreneurs, they only provide access to finance, and bundled services act as rare and a very, very valuable strategic resource that build competitive advantage. And also, those bundled services had helped women to better cope with shocks, to better cope with any unexpected changes, so that increased their resilience as a business. So moving forward, we developed a couple of policy recommendations that we think that it's important to look into for the policymakers or those who plan any type of similar programming. One is that incorporating bundled service models into those SME support programs is super important. It enhances the operation, enhances the stability, and accelerates their business growth. Also, we need to do a lot of awareness raising of other financial products that are available out there that women can benefit, because in Georgia, it was not that much of a case, but in rural areas, and in other parts of the world where women experience a lot of challenges mobilizing collateral to access the loans, this knowing about other financial products helps them start the business better or have a better start of their business. Also, if we do a gender-sensitive mentorship programs, that also helps them understand what challenges women face. For instance, many mentorship programs are designated that here you are invited for a training from 9 to 5 on Monday and Tuesday. Many women, particularly in rural areas, who have a lot of family commitments, along with like taking care of the agricultural land and the poultry or the livestock, they're responsible for a family livelihood. It's super challenging for them to free up those 2 extra days and to enhance their capacity. Even though it's important, sometimes they have to make a sacrifice, and very often it's not in favor of the training. Therefore, designing those mentorship and coaching programs that helps more of a flexible approach, maybe delivered on site, rather than having them transport and travel and leave the household, might yield better results. And also having those trusted intermediaries who act particularly in the rural areas that helps them to scale up and effective bundled services. So moving forward, systemic support is crucial for scaling these impactful models. And this, our research is one of the very clear illustrations that it's important. However, we do acknowledge that the longitudinal study would also help understand these behavioral patterns over time, and it would provide much better evidence for a much informed decision making for the policymakers, for those who plan these programs, and also and generally women who want to start their business. Thank you.